What's your least favorite thing about homeschool? I don't want to be suggestive, so I'm going to wait just a little bit for you to answer that. And if you could put it in the comment section down below, I'd love to hear your thought. So, my least favorite thing is, and probably will always be, conflict of any sort. Even complaining and whining and all of that energy. And I've been doing this for a long time, and it turns out I don't think it's going away. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's part of the human experience, that it's maybe compelling growth and has a reason, but I don't like it. But for a lot of years, I had no plan for it. And therefore, there was a whole lot of unresolved conflict and tumult and just trouble. When I came across a book by Marshall Rosenberg, Nonviolent Communication, it isn't quite as it sounds, but Nonviolent Communication, things radically shifted for all of us. So this afternoon, I'm going to speak about Nonviolent Communication, the book by Marshall Rosenberg, and how it informs my homeschool. So you're invited. You can always check the link in my bio for the book club. But you know what? I'm going to share with you 4 things that you can take away from this book right now. So when we talk about nonviolent communication, I think we need to establish what that means, because it doesn't mean probably quite what our culture has defined violent. They refer to nonviolent communication as a language of life that helps us transform old patterns of defensiveness and aggressiveness into compassion and empathy, and to improve the quality of our relationships. We all have old patterns, which we definitely learn much more clearly when we enter into really intimate relationships like parenting and partnering. And we definitely notice how we have been reactive, defensive, and aggressive when we attempt to create harmony and close relationships that serve others and serve ourselves. Certainly we notice this stuff when we homeschool parent, because we get more opportunities to be with our kids. Here's the 4 components of nonviolent communication in a nutshell. The first is observe. Observation without evaluation. When you begin to have a conflict with someone, or you recognize that you're in conflict with someone, observe without evaluating. I see that you have slammed your hands on the desk. Help me understand what's going on for you. Observe without evaluating. The second thing is to honor and recognize feelings. Sometimes we spend our entire lives not even recognizing that we have feelings because we got stuff to do and we have expectations to meet, things to check off our to-do list. If we're in that camp of not feeling our feelings or honoring and acknowledging our feelings, we need to stop and take a pause and begin to understand what's in here. We begin to notice things, the way we react or feel towards things around us, inside of our bodies and in our emotions. We're beginning to distinguish when we do this, observing our feelings, that we feel things, that feelings pass, that feelings aren't static, they don't always stay the same, and they're originating from somewhere. And that's the third step, our needs. Are we acknowledging our needs and recognizing what the thoughts are behind our feelings? Everybody has needs. We have needs, our partner has needs, our kids have needs, and to make it more fun, they're not all the same. We don't come at the world with the same point of reference. We don't see things the same way. Have you noticed this? If you've been partnered for a while, if you're good friends with a friend for a long period of time, you don't see things the same way. Even if you have many commonalities and you see many things similarly, you might have very similar values, but you still don't see everything the same way. Turns out that's the same with our kids. This was not intuitive for me in the beginning. In fact, It's not really intuitive for me at all. I would like everybody to see the world the same way as me. That would be a whole bunch easier, but it isn't real. We acknowledge that we have our own needs, and each of the people in our lives have their own needs, and we need to meet them. Either we meet our own needs through self-compassion, or we ask other people to meet our needs. We need to acknowledge our uncomfortable feelings, our comfortable feelings, and come to understand that everyone around us has needs, and we need to ask them, what do you need? And that is the fourth principle, is to make a request, to actually make a very clear request. This is how I feel. This is my thought. Can I ask if you would meet this need? And also, we do that for them as well. So it sounds intuitive maybe, but it sounds also, it sounds simple, doesn't it? So not simple when we're actually putting it into practice. Marshall Rosenberg says, what I want in my life is compassion, a flow between myself and others based on a mutual giving from the heart. And to help you understand a little bit more about this concept of violence, he says, all violence is the result of people tricking themselves into believing that their pain derives from other people and that consequently these people deserve to be punished. Let's think on that for a few minutes. So is punishment really going to accomplish what we instinctively think it might? The very most important thing that I gained from Marshall Rosenberg's book is actually a fill-in-the-blank statement. So if you use this fill-in-the-blank statement, it will actually help you understand how to communicate to someone when you're having conflict. But better yet, don't do it in the midst of conflict. Practice it when you're not in the midst of conflict, because there's parts of your brain that are lit up and on fire if you're in a heated moment, that it's not reasonable for you to try and tap in to clear communication, especially if you haven't been practicing it. So here's the fill-in-the-blank statement. When I see that you slam your hands on the desk, I feel threatened or angry because my need for safety and security is not met. Would you be willing to tell me, Mom, I'm frustrated that I have to do this math worksheet again today? And thus begins a conversation where you can address your child's need and also address your needs. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below, and you're welcome to join me at the Homeschool Mama Book Club at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today.